Come on down if you wet it. Wake up, let's go, we're on a mission. Recognize we've got that power. And we make sure that you know it. Got that pride, go ahead and show it. Stand up, fight back, no time for hoping. Recognize we got that power. Won't stop until we get it. Come on down if you wet it. Wake up, let's go, we're on a mission. Recognize we got that power. And we make sure that you know it. Got that pride, go ahead and show it. Stand up, fight back, no time for hoping. Recognize we got that power.
You are now tuned in to the Elife Power Lunch Show with Dr. Baruch and Chris Murray. How are you?
I am doing great, managing all of this technology over here. I'm doing great. How about you?
I am wonderful. Still excited. It's been a great day. We had some great information on our last show, and I know we're jumping into some more great information coming up right now.
Well, whenever we bring on our next guest, we're always bound to get some really good, powerful information. So we look forward to sharing that information. And again, this is the Elife Power Lunch, where you can catch us live. If for those of you all who are on Facebook or otherwise, you can catch us live on the Elife Media Network at elifemedia.net. That's what's up. So we've got a guest who's no stranger to the Elife Power Lunch and Elife Media Network. We have Brother Curtis Duncan. What's up, Brother Curtis? Uh-oh, wait a minute. I apologize. Brother Curtis, don't say another word because I had to. What's up, Brother Curtis?
Hey, Dr. Baruch.
Dr. Duncan.
Chris Murray, how are you?
Very well, very well. That's right. Please forgive me. Dr. Curtis Duncan. You know.
Doctor's just a nickname.
Yeah, well, it's all right.
You know.
That was the nickname we chose to give you today. So we all right, you know. But I do understand the legal and other implications. But as we take control and as we take this power to define into our own hands, we choose to recognize you in that authoritative way because you are an authority in the realm of health and wellness. And we appreciate the work that you're doing as a researcher and look forward to getting some really good information from you today.
Thank you, and thank you all for having me on.
Yes, indeed. Chris, what you got? We're going to let you start this conversation.
Yes, no, I wanted to bring Dr. Duncan on just to give us some updates. I mean, I know you're always doing research and you're up on the latest and greatest in our health, your holistic health. So we wanted to figure out what's new, what should we be focused on, what should we be researching ourselves?
Yeah, so most of the, I as you mentioned, I do come across information all the time. I would say, right now, what's been going on with people is, essentially the same things that have been going on for the past several hundred years, or you can even say 7,000 years. So people are primarily dying from diseases due to inflammation. So inflammation being triggered by their diets primarily. Inflammation as a result of consuming excessive amounts of wheat, an excessive amount of sugar, an excessive amount of processed vegetable oils, i.e. soybean oil, corn oil, canola oil, cottonseed oil, all of these oils, which are actually, most of which are genetically modified, made by Monsanto. They're dying from inflammatory diseases. And that's why a lot of people are on anti-inflammatory drugs. And these anti-inflammatory drugs, i.e. aspirin, and some of these other anti-inflammatories, they do not help, they do not help fight the chronic inflammation that people are dealing with. They actually kill you. As I was telling someone, most people do not die from a headache, but over 25,000 people, Americans, a year die from aspirin. And aspirin is one of these anti-inflammatories. So it's very important that when people are thinking about their health, they have to think about, number one, am I consuming an anti-inflammatory diet? That's the first thing. Number two, what types of foods help fight inflammation that's already taking place? Because if you have an autoimmune ailment, if you have diabetes, if you have obesity, if you have high blood pressure, if you have Alzheimer's, all of this is going to be triggered by inflammation. So it's very, very important that people consume anti-inflammatory foods and also avoid all the pro-inflammatory foods. As I mentioned, the wheat, dairy, processed vegetable oils, and sugar are some of the most, inflammatory triggering foods. So that's the biggest thing because whenever I talk to people, it's always the same issues: cancer, diabetes, high blood pressure. It's never really anything that deviates from that. And I tell people that, you definitely want to address that, but understand that again, most people, they do not die from those issues. They die from the drugs that they're being given. So they don't die from diabetes, but they will die from the diabetes drugs. For example, Vioxx, which killed 100,000 people, was an anti-inflammatory drug. That was prescribed to people who had heart disease. So that's what's really is killing people. It's our pro-inflammatory diets and this diabolical Western allopathic medical paradigm.
Yeah, it's we're hearing it so much now, and it's the I guess the response that I get from a lot of folk is, it's not sexy, Doc. It's not sexy. We like sexy. So what I find is we're gonna have to, Dr. Duncan, we're gonna have to produce some commercials with the beautiful woman running along the beach with the long flowing nightgown like bathing suit, showing how eating vegetables is not only going to heal her of her diabetes and high blood pressure, heart disease, endometriosis, fibroid tumors, Alzheimer's, arthritis, the list goes on. But she's going to be sexy at it. And, and then you show the picture of the guy there picking her up and swinging her around, and then they engage in a passionate kiss. Meanwhile, they're just trying to convince you to eat more vegetables.
The sad part is I think that will work.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Because, that's not a sexy message. The message that you give is the message that, we've been trying to get our people to get for a minute now. And that is stop eating crap and eat healthy food.
Right.
Yeah. And it's not sexy, but I will, but one of the things I talk about, and that's why I talk a lot about the chemicals which all suppress testosterone. Eating a bad diet and being exposed to these different chemicals, they will make you less sexy in the sense that you won't be having sex if you are
sexual, less sexual, indeed.
Right. But I think, it's a joke, but we were talking about edutainment and stuff on some of the other shows, but it's like we really need to start doing what we have to do to get the message across. People who are spreading negativity and negative message and killing our people have no problem using whatever means they have to. And I'm not saying cross any lines or go against any morals or anything, but we really need to strategize better. What way or what methods can we take to really get our people engaged? We're lacking in that. Like you said, it's not sexy. Well, if we need to be sexy, okay, well, let's get some sexy apples and oranges and bananas and whatever we need to do because our people need this information.
Yeah, I agree with making it sexy, with the whole advertising, but yeah, since we're talking about sex and sexual, I emphasize, I talk about a lot, particularly to men. As I mentioned before, is how these chemicals are, it's reducing their libido, it's causing them to have man boobs and bellies as if they were a pregnant woman, and it's preventing them from having sex. So that appeals to a lot of people, particularly when I talk about how chemicals are making men's penises no bigger than 2 inches. That really grabs that really grabs people's attention.
Right.
When I talk about that. Because that's what is going on. I'm not making this up. This is all scientific research.
Right.
I definitely, hey, I have no problem. I have no problem telling people the really negative news and things that these chemicals are doing. I have no problem, and that's why I had no problem talking about how the chemicals were gender benders to get people's attention, not to stigmatize the LGBT community, but to raise awareness that hey, these chemicals are killing you, but they're also depopulating you because they were invented for eugenics.
Right.
So you have to use those you can't be scared to use those hardcore terms: genocide, eugenics, depopulation. I mean, that's something that I've learned that you have to embrace in order to grab particularly our people's attention, because otherwise everything will just get lost in the sauce, if you will, particularly all the distractions that our people are constantly being fed in the age of social media and just instantaneous news.
Yeah, well, the conspiracy theorists and those who want to go against that, the whole idea that there is a plan in place. It's funny how people who are not subject to, some of the awful things that are being done are trying to encourage us. Why do you think somebody would try to kill you? Meanwhile, their stock, they've purchased, stock in Merck and Syngenta and Arthur Daniels Midland and Monsanto. Why would you think? I'm not trying to hurt you. I wouldn't do anything to hurt you. I love you, and, so we've got this backhanded way of being able to achieve your goal by supporting financially in an undisclosed manner, all we got to do is look in front of us and see this barrel of the gun that's pointed directly at us and say, well, wait a minute, something's wrong. And we need to start changing. And it doesn't even matter. At some level, sure, we're going to have to respond and react to what somebody's trying to do to us. But we need to first focus on what it is that we could do for us to make things better for us. And that would have more impact on us stopping somebody else from doing whatever else they're doing to us. If we just protected ourselves, it would have a tremendous effect on us.
Absolutely. I totally agree. In response to things that what we can do, and I was thinking just now, and let's first talk about because it's something I've done a ton of research on, the sisters or the women. Black women in particular have extremely high rates of fibroids. And it's something I've always wondered, why is it? Because I've never bought the belief that fibroids is genetic and this that. These doctors, whenever they don't know the root cause, because doctors they don't specialize in root causes of anything. They always say it's genetic. Cancer is genetic. I mean, they say these things essentially because they don't do the research, oftentimes into the nutritional or environmental causes of disease, because that's not how they're trained. They're trained to cut, drug, and burn, as I tell people. So you go to a doctor and you have fibroids, he's going to tell you, okay, well, we can cut out your womb, and that's what they get paid to do. They get paid millions of dollars to essentially sterilize. I think close to about 30 million women in this country have been sterilized via hysterectomy for a non-benign and non-malignant disease known as fibroids and endometriosis. And this is happening to Black women all across the country. But what's driving this fibroids epidemic, particularly in the Black community, is an excessive amount of estrogen. Now, where are Black women primarily getting exposed to all this estrogen? Well, soy is a major factor, particularly for many Black women who are vegetarian, vegan. But not only that, you have Black hair care products.
Right.
Now, Black hair care products contain the most amount of estrogen of any product marketed towards a particular ethnic group. I'll repeat that again. Black hair care products contain the most amount of estrogen of any so-called ethnic product on the market. So all the products out there that are targeted towards these different groups, white groups, Asian groups, Hispanic groups, Black hair care products contain the most amount of estrogen. The chemicals that you find in Black hair care products are fragrance, which are found in all relaxers, and virtually all, even so-called natural ones. There's no such thing as a natural relaxer in the first place. It's parabens is another chemical which is found in Black hair care products. Placenta extract. So essentially, when the women, when they tell women to go into these hospitals, the reason why they're telling you to do that is because they want all of the placenta, the male foreskin, because all of that generates billions of dollars. The placenta, the hospitals, they don't just dispose of that. They take that and they resell it. They generate billions of dollars off that. When they circumcise male babies, or male genital mutilation, they take that foreskin and they put it in beauty products. So that placenta that essentially, naturally you might bury into the ground if you're having a home birth, or you have a doula or a midwife attending your birth, which is really what you should have. Hospital births are only appropriate in a case of a medical emergency, which most pregnancies do not qualify as that. They take that placenta extract and they put it in black hair care products, and then you develop fibroids, and then they cut out your uterus, and then they sell, and then they more than likely sell those body parts as well too.
Wow.
Essentially what you have is a situation with the medical industry. It's an invasion of the body snatchers. They're taking all these body parts, the male foreskin, the uterus, the placenta extract, and then turning those things into a commodity, and those commodities are killing us. So black hair care products, for all the women out there, it's very important that you read those labels. I do not recommend relaxers at all. A lot of the weaves also contain formaldehyde glues. Formaldehyde is essentially embalming fluid for dead people. So all these different chemicals are going straight into your bloodstream when you expose them into your skin or into your scalp. And that's why black women are exposed to all these different chemicals which mimic estrogen. And that's why black girls go into puberty at the age of 7, which is the lowest rate of early puberty in the country. It's because we're being exposed to all these different chemicals in our hair care products, because black women in this country spend it's a really high amount on hair care. And I'm not here to bash the sisters. I'm not here to bash you. And I understand we live in white supremacy, racism, insecurity, media. Those are valid. Those are very valid influences. You have society, family. I know a lot of sisters, they got made fun of, if their hair wasn't permed or relaxed or didn't look a certain way.
Right.
But you have to keep in mind that these products are deliberately being contaminated with these chemicals in order to kill you,
Right.
in order to sterilize you, in order to give you breast cancer, in order to make your children go into puberty at the age of 7. And as I mentioned, these chemicals also, they are gender-bending chemicals. So the chemicals, they feminize men and they masculinize women. So these chemicals are also put into these black hair care products for purposes of eugenics, because once the chemicals get into your body, the chemicals are fat soluble. And black women, or just women in particular, they naturally have more body fat than men. So the chemicals are going to be in your bodies forever. So that's why the average woman in this country has close to about 515 different synthetic chemicals in her body. Mm-hmm. And black babies in this country, when they're born, when they test their umbilical cords, they have close to about almost 250 chemicals in their umbilical cords.
Wow.
So it's very, very important that we begin to really examine our habits and our lifestyle choices. And really see, is it worth dying so I can fit in to this culture which was not even created for my own benefit, which was created to dehumanize me and to make me feel inferior. So that's what I'm here to spread that message of love, to understand that, hey, love yourself, sisters, and avoid those toxic, diabolical black hair care products.
Right, and that's important, because as you guys probably know, that's one of I have 3 homes. I have my home, I have Everlasting, and then I have the salon. And so, I understand all of the points that you made about it just being important as a part of our culture as black women. And I think just getting the information out there is really what we need, because, we definitely don't want to hear, well, you can't do this, without you being able to follow that up with saying, here is a list of products that you can use. So I think it's our responsibility, being in the forefront, having this understanding, and being in a position to share and teach others, for us to be able to provide that information as well. So that's something that I think I can personally take on and say, look, I need to figure it out, because my color is, I don't know if y'all can see it, my color is coming out, and I haven't done it specifically because I know it's bad for me now, but now I have to figure out what I can do. So I think, again, having these types of conversations always help.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Those hair colorings are actually the most toxic, according to the Environmental Working Group. Mm-hmm. And I know that popular amongst black women. The red hair colors, blue hair colors, blondes. Those are some of the most toxic chemicals you can ever be exposed to. Again, according to this is a report that came out almost 2 months ago. That was looking at specifically at black hair care products. So, and that's just, like I said, that's just one factor. Of course, when it comes to fibroids, you have the plastics, you have canned foods, all these different, plastics are loaded with estrogen. dairy. Essentially, when you consume dairy, you're consuming, a so-called food which is meant for a baby cow, but has to come from a pregnant female cow. So that's going to contain an excessive amount of estrogen.
Wow.
So that's another risk factor in terms of fibroids, and also sugar. Black women are the biggest consumers of sugar amongst women in this country. I think Native American women are like number two. But that's sugar, pure, white, and deadly, as the book said in the 1970s, I think by William Duff.
Right.
Sugar is a major cause of fibroid tumors as well too.
Right.
And like I said, for most women, they're dealing with a lot of reproductive ailments in their breast, in their in their uterus, PCOS. PCOS is caused by bisphenol A. Bisphenol A is actually found in paper receipts. So whenever you get a receipt from the store, the little waxy paper, bisphenol A is found in those receipts. That's why I usually decline I decline to get any receipts these days because I know they contain bisphenol A. Bisphenol A is found in money, in the paper money that we use.
Wow.
So all these different chemicals are known as endocrine disrupting chemicals. Black women are being exposed to them in a very, very high amount.
So it seems like there's nowhere that's safe. There's
Go ahead.
nowhere that's safe. I mean, here we've had a few of the workshops on Wednesday where they're letting us know that even in the feminine products that we are pretty much obligated to use on a regular basis, that's an attack as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All the feminine hygiene products, the douching products, those are really popular amongst Black women, and those contain a chemical known as non-oxyl 9. Which again mimics estrogen, causes breast cancer, causes fibroids, causes endometriosis, but it also strips the lining of your vagina. It makes you more susceptible to STDs. So whenever they say, "Oh yeah, Black women have high rates of STDs," well, first of all, that's BS because the HIV virus doesn't even exist. The second thing is that okay, well, if they do have higher rates, what is causing those increased rates? And what's causing them is the very high prevalence of using so-called feminine hygiene products or douching products amongst Black women, and also the high usage of birth control, because birth control also destroys the lining of your vagina and makes you more susceptible to developing STDs.
Wow.
So birth control, which again is pushed heavily in our community, again for eugenics, and the high prevalence of douching, which is totally unnecessary. So these feminine hygiene products, sanitary napkins, tampons, all these things, nail polish, pretty much the whole beauty industry is killing women.
Wow.
And it's killing our women in particular, because we're so we use it so often.
Right.
Because of this media manipulation that we are constantly being exposed to.
There was a report that I read years ago that the United States government had commissioned China to actually develop hair care products for Black women in particular. Have you gotten any information on that?
I haven't heard of that.
It was in the video. It was in that video, Black Hair. I don't know whether you've ever seen that video that talks about the $10 billion Korean black hair care business. They talk about, there was a point in there where they brought up the fact that the United States government back in the 40s and 50s actually commissioned China to develop hair care products that were specifically going to be targeted for women of color, Black women. And I bet you if we opened up that envelope, we would find some really, really mean things that are taking place that were part of that agreement and what they were really instructing them to do. And it's probably something we could learn, from somebody over there in China, because, they told us to put all these make sure that these chemicals were in the food, were in the hair care products, because they just wanted these products, and they might not even explain, but they wanted these products in these hair care products, so that they could achieve this end, which is what we're seeing now. We're suffering, our women are suffering very much so because they feel compelled, one, to look like they don't look, which is really strange, and we're using these chemicals to achieve that objective. and these chemicals are destroying our health. So it's really a tough scenario because the actual poison or the enemy has hidden himself in something that we desire, and it's no different than sugar. It's no different than the way in which we engage relationships, the way in which we pursue life in large part. That our enemy has hidden himself inside of that which we should naturally, based on our teaching, desire. And we cause ourselves having this conflict of interest when somebody comes to us and says, girl, you need to stop putting them chemicals in your hair. What, and look like this?
Right.
Are
Exactly.
you crazy?
Exactly.
I'd rather have endometriosis and fibroids than look like this. So it's indeed a challenge, and it's going to be, just like what we talk about all the time, it's going to be war.
Yeah.
And, Dr. Duncan, we appreciate you. We know your time is limited. We appreciate you for coming on board and sharing with us what you do. I would like to ask if there's anything that you got going on in the not too distant future that you tell us about it, give us a date, please include the year, so that our audience can come through and check you out or find you out on the internet with one of your empowering videos. What you got?
Yeah, so I do have a couple of things. I will be doing a live lecture in Memphis, Tennessee, sometime in April, around, I think April 23rd. And I will post about that. I would say check me out on social media, on Twitter, on Facebook. I will post more information on that as I get the flyer and as I get more details. I'm also working on a cancer event on how to naturally cure cancer with Dr. Scott Whitaker, author of the book Medicine, here in Atlanta. That will be at the Shrine of the Black Madonna on July the 15th from 1 until 6 p.m. And again, I'll post more details on that, as time, when time permits, or as soon as I get basically all the details in order. But in the meantime, I do offer consultations. I do speaking engagements. I do have many different informational products available, really powerful informational products available on the internet. So you can check me out on my website. Is DrCurtisDuncan. That's DrCurtisDuncan. That's drcurtisduncan.com. And my email address where you can reach out to me for more information about my services or my products, or possibly to schedule a speaking engagement, is DrCurtisDuncan at gmail.com. That's DrCurtisDuncan at gmail.com. And I'm on Facebook at Curtis Duncan. That's the best way to reach me because, Facebook, they censor a lot of these business pages now, so you can't even reach your audience. So you can check me out on Facebook, Curtis Duncan, here in Atlanta, Georgia. And my Twitter handle is Curtis L. Duncan. That's my Twitter handle, Curtis L. Duncan. So you can check me out on there. And just let your listening audience know, I know we talked a lot about chemicals. One of the best things you all can do to detox these chemicals is, of course, avoid the chemicals in the first place, but also take like a spirulina supplement or a blue-green algae, which I'm sure Dr. Baruch sells at his wonderful restaurant up there in D.C. Blue-green algae, spirulina, wheatgrass juice, cilantro, parsley, green leafy vegetables like broccoli, kale, Brussels sprouts. Those help to strengthen your liver and help you to detox all these different chemicals. It's very important that you all detox from these harmful substances that you're being exposed to on a continuous basis. Of course, you want to avoid them, but you also want to detox as well too.
Great. Well, it's again, it's a pleasure to have you on, brother, and we appreciate your energy and the work that you have done and continue to do. We look forward to getting an update in the not too distant future with some new stuff as well as some old stuff, because we can't get away from the old stuff because the people ain't got the old stuff for us to move on to the new stuff, right?
That's right.
Yeah. We got to cross one bridge first.
There you go.
Cross one bridge first.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate you coming on board. Look forward to having you back.
Thank you so much, Chris and Dr. Baruch. It's been a pleasure, and I'm available anytime. For me to come back on. But thank you again for having me on.
Yes, thank you.
Great. Well, another great show, Chris.
Yes, most definitely. I know we have some great stuff coming up right here in person. If you guys want to come out And check us out. Tomorrow night is Wednesday. So you guys already know what I'm going to say. It's the Health, Wealth, and Knowledge of Self workshop series from 7 to 9 p.m. We have a great topic for you. But if you want to come early and grab a bite to eat, come at 6 p.m. and hang out with us for a little bit. We'll do the presentation, and then you can hang out with us a little bit more after that. On Fridays, we now have a movie night, and this week we're going to be watching part 2 of Urban Kryptonite. And like I said, I saw a little sneak peek of that last week, so I highly encourage you guys to come out, be a part of it. They have popcorn for sale. It's the real deal movie experience. And you're supporting a black business. What better thing can you do on a Friday night than that? So come and check us out. That's, again, at 7, from 7 to 9 p.m. right here at Everlasting. Also, last Saturday was the Solstice Bazaar. It was phenomenal. I saw videos and pictures and all that great stuff. Tons of wonderful vendors and products and services. So if you missed it, I'm sorry. You can check out the videos and pictures on social media. But it's going to be happening again every first Saturday right here, 9185 Central Avenue in Capitol Heights, Maryland.
Great. That's what's up. It's been a great show.
Definitely.
I appreciate you for all of the work that you've done. I know we did some technical things in our previous show. We're going to get all that worked out. So
yes.
maybe we just need to get that person in here to help us do
We
that.
do. Send your resumes.
That's it. Right here to the Elife Power Lunch here on the Elife Media Network with your hosts, Chris Murray and myself, Dr. Baruch. Until next time, as we continue to uncover people who we feel like would really make a positive difference in your world, we encourage you to continue to share, like, upload, and subscribe to the pages that we have here on the Elife Media Group here on YouTube. We encourage you to check this all out so that you can learn and you can also empower others. It's been a great time. Chris, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, I'll be here. See you then.
Yep. Peace, family.
Take care.